Okay, why don't you guys call out, and I'm trying to pick the controversial ones, guys. I went through a bunch of questions. Why don't you guys call out people by name? This is something we could all give our take on, but we've all said, like, we don't mention names. To me, I look at the calling out names partially as the boy who cried wolf, right? The boy who cried wolf, no one takes him serious because he's always crying wolf. And when you're always using your platform to call everybody else out, not only is it a sign of pride and a sign of arrogance and ignorance if you think everybody's false but you. I mean, that's literally how cults start. But I think that you lose the power to even call anything out, to even call out sin. I do think there are occasions where somebody is so far gone, they do not believe the essential doctrines, they're causing damage to the body, and if you are a shepherd of a flock, you should probably warn your flock. But I think that it's usually very rare, and with internet culture, now everybody has a voice, everybody's a quote-unquote leader, and now we have call-out culture and cancel culture where any random guy can just make a video, Isaiah Saldivar's a heretic because he believes Christians could have demons. It goes viral, and people are like, are you going to respond? I don't even know who that guy is. Who is he? He's not my spiritual covering or father. I don't even know this guy. Some random guy in a basement somewhere online. And I have to respond to every single person online that calls me out. Not only is it not biblical, it's just not healthy to create channels where all you're doing is tearing people down. All you're doing is being negative. All you're doing is calling people out. I just personally don't see how it benefits the body of Christ. I think it creates an angry mob of people. And if you want to prove this, you can go to these channels and look at the comment section. It's all anger. It's all mad. It's, oh, this guy, it's making fun. And I personally don't want to have a platform like that or create a people that are unhealthy like that. But what do you guys think? Maybe I'm wrong. That's just my own personal conviction.
Well, go ahead.
Let me say this. First of all, we do call people out, but we call people out when we have weighed the evidence and we are 100% sure that this needs to be called out. My fear is being a false witness because I haven't weighed all of the evidence in proper balance to be able to make a proper judgment call. The Bible says it is foolish to not hear the matter fully. It actually talks about things like that. So I have a fear that I'll be quick to condemn something, and then I found out that it was either a misspeak or maybe needed more clarification, or maybe they're just in error and might not be erroneous. Like there's a big difference, they might still be evolving. I just don't want to be that guy that then I have to make another video saying sorry. That I got to be like, okay, guys, I was wrong about this guy. So I think there is a proper biblical protocol to be able to make that judgment. But the Bible talks about weighing all the evidence. But then there's also a proper ecclesiastical, at least for me, to be able to do that. Matthew 18 talks about that. You know what I'm saying? For me, I have to bring it to my church elders. Is this something that we need to make a public statement on that's going to reflect on the integrity of the organization? What does this have to do with us? And then on top of that, I have to filter it through the people that are closest to me, that I love, that can tell me the truth and say, Pagani, why do you want to chime into this? So it's not just, I disagree with something and I'm just going to call someone out. Remember, a public rebuke doesn't just affect the person you're rebuking, it affects everyone that's attached to you that's being the rebuker. Wow. So I have to make sure that everyone that's with me is able to stand with me and saying, we stand against this. And I just think that we just do it too quickly. I think we do it too quickly. But one thing I can say is that when we decide that it's time to do that, then it's not just me speaking, my whole organization is standing with me and those that hold me accountable, so that when there's backlash, it doesn't faze me, because I've went through the proper channels to be able to make that public rebuke. All right, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, no, that was so good. That was so good. So, and my thing kind of piggybacks off of that. So I just got back from retracing the Protestant Reformation. So I was in Neuchâtel, Switzerland, Geneva. I was in Berlin. And as I traveled through these regions, this is 2 countries now, right? Now go back 500 years. I had this mind-blowing revelation. So you have John Calvin, you've got, William Farel, you've got Martin Luther. And here's the thing, these guys, when they had issue with each other's theology, would have to travel by horse across waterways, mountains, valleys, to dignify somebody to show up to their office. Like when William Farel went from the northern part of Switzerland all the way down to Geneva to confront Calvin, it was like you had to make a physical journey to do that. My point is, this is the mind-blowing revelation I had, is we've cheapened it to a YouTube video calling somebody out.
Yeah.
It's like these guys would dignify each other. They would say, okay, you bring your best theological argument, I'll bring mine. But here's the thing, they were motivated by compassion, not criticism. And that's how you got the Protestant Reformation. Was the Catholic Church is selling indulgences, people are being deceived, and we've got to take the church back to the original design. What is it? And so I just thought about, like, would you still criticize Alexander Pagani's theology if YouTube didn't exist? Would you still make the video if nobody watched it? Would you still blog about Isaiah Saldivar if it didn't do something for your ego, for your status, for your... And let me just tell you, Pastor Mike, well, what authority do you have to say that? Well, I'm a part of a church planting organization, and my apostolic oversight, we had a guy in our organization that had some serious sin. And so they asked me, would you move your family? This is during the pandemic. Mike, would you be willing to move your family across country and pastor 2 churches at the same time, V1 Church and his church, while we go into a deep investigation of this man's life, his finances, the fruit of his ministry? So it's like, you talk about call out culture, cancel culture, all this stuff. It's trivial to someone like me, because to find the truth about another minister's life, I had to move my entire family into his neighborhood and actually do the deep work of reconciling his church and working through those issues. So I think right now it's like, I look at a lot of these guys and I'm like, man, these guys, I mean, I'm just going to say it in the most theological way I can. They're punks. They're wusses. These guys have no backbone. It's like it's like they don't, what they're bad, and they're bad at what they do. Like someone the other day made a video about, like, saying, I don't know Greek. By the way, I'm halfway through with my master's in theology right now. And the fact is, what I said was right. I fact checked it. I went through different channels, but the irony of their video is that they were actually wrong in their video. And so, and to go back to Pagani's point, it's like, it's so weird, because just because somebody makes a thumbnail doesn't make them authoritative. Good. Just because somebody has a nice camera in 4K doesn't make them authoritative. And I think that we need to increase in maturity and discernment. And so I do call leaders out, but I call them out to their face. I move my family across country to do the deep work. And I think that's the heritage we have from the Protestant Reformation, is get on horseback, don't get on Facebook. Go through the rivers and valleys, do the real thing, but they're not going to do that. And the last thing I say, because, and I'm going to take a drink to my polar seltzer water after I say this, but the thing, because it needs to be said, this needs to be said. I have actually emailed some of the people who've made content about me, saying, I would love to have a charitable discussion. I would love to have a theological, I'm willing to do the work to build the bridge of relationship, and let's do it privately. I'm not doing it for likes or follows or fans or subscribers. And to date, 0 of them have taken me up on the offer.
Yeah.
So that's your motive. And it's, a lot of these guys are very weird. They're mentally ill. And to think about a 45-year-old man taking my face, etching it out, and then laughing, and then there's a file on their computer that actually is named, crown, and they put it on my head, and they're laughing. And just the other day, I was actually imagining some of these grown men making thumbnails of us, and I was like, they're white. Like, nobody in their life says, hey, when you were manipulating Mike's face and distorting, that's weird. Yes. Nobody tells these guys that's mentally unwell. You need to get a real hobby.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm done.
Agree.
I'm done.
I agree.
I remember when Leonard Ravenhill, they asked him why he's always criticizing the church, and he said something. He's like, I weep for the church 6 to 10 hours a day. He's like, because I weep for the church, I can whip the church.
Preach.
And what my challenge with people is that they gloat when people fall, and mainly because it gives them clicks. Maybe some of these people, they didn't start it like that, but they released one video and they saw that, since they don't have anything else to say,
Yeah.
what if this is something that they could keep on commenting? And now it became a habit, and now it became an addiction, and now it became a ministry. And then, of course, they find scriptures to justify that. But when Saul fell off the rails, Samuel, who rebuked him to face, he mourned for him. He grieved for his fall. And what grieves me is that we don't grieve. A lot of times when stuff like that happen, we just gloat and we quickly jump online and let's make a video because, I haven't posted anything and I've been waiting for somebody to fall so that I can make a new video. And sometimes our response to someone's sin can be a sin too. Like, what happened to Noah was bad. How his sons reacted to that also wasn't good. Moses married this girl lady he wasn't supposed to. How Miriam responded. And so we just have to be careful that we don't rush quickly to stone somebody because, like they were doing with the woman caught in the act of adultery. In fact, they had all the facts. She was caught in the act of adultery. Many times we don't have all the facts. Like Pagani mentioned, we actually are judging based on the latest article that could be wrong, and we quickly getting our stones instead of picking up a mirror. I was reminded in the Old Testament,
Dropping bombs casually.
When God used Israel to judge, God used Babylon to judge Israel. Israel deserved it. He rebuked them. They didn't correct their way. And he used Babylon, and then he came and judged Babylon because they went too far. And what I'm seeing, some of these people, a lot of them, I get it. If there is a sin, if there is a thing, and they feel like this is their calling to call it out, that's fine. But what a lot of them do, I really feel like a lot of them go too far. They say stuff that is completely not true, and God is gonna hold people responsible. And so it grieves my heart when I see that people build their ministries on the falling of other people.
Yeah, and it's quite frank. If you want to know someone's motives, go look at their channel. If they have a video of a Bible teaching that gets 400 views, and then they call out Mike or me or Pagani and it gets 40,000, what do you think they're going to make? They're going to keep making the call out videos because their Bible teaching videos get no views. They're paying their bills with ad revenue, and they're using our likeness to get massive amounts of views, and they have to continue their live, continue all these things. And here's the thing. You guys in the chat that are commenting, you guys need to call more people out. You just need to look yourself in the mirror and realize you love drama. That's why you want us to call people out. That's why you love the TD Jakes videos. You love the Maverick City call. All the videos that you guys love to watch all day long that are just giving you, they're not making you grow at all. All they're doing is making you a cynical, judgmental Christian. You love drama. You got delivered from watching the Desperate Housewives of Miami, and now you watch these YouTubers that call everybody out. Anytime there's a scandal, every single one of them has a video ready to go. I told you, I knew it. They knew everything. They were ready for everybody's sin. And it's crazy because they're able to call everybody else's sin out but their own. They can't see their own pride, their own arrogance, but they're able to see. And this is the parable of before you take out the speck from your brother's eye, remove the plank out of your eye. I know guys that do this. They make videos every time a pastor falls. I'm like, man, they must have had that queued up and ready. The moment the pastor falls, within an hour, they have a video out. I told you guys I knew he was going to fall. I'm like, bro, you literally have so much sin in your own life, and you're able to call everybody else's sin out but your own, and it gets views, it gets clicks. We all know how to get views. If you make a video calling someone out, we already know we're going to get 200,000, 300,000, 400,000 views. And the reason is, people love drama. They love toxic poison. I don't know why this is. It's the flesh, the human nature. We have to stop being in love with that. I have to do that to myself where I see these videos of so-and-so fell. I'm like, I don't even want to watch that. It's poison to my spirit. It's poison to my soul. So yeah, we're the consumer to this content. We got to stop. We got to stop consuming this toxic content. Amen.
Yeah.